2013 kind of taper tantrum is possible if the Fed were to signal some bit of, some signs of tapering of bond purchases ahead. But our view is that this time around, if you see weakness in Asian stock markets, it will likely be much more muted compared to 2013. The reason is that on a number of factors or measures that we have looked at, I think Asian economies generally appear more resilient. So, for example, if you look at current account balances, in 2013, there was a big issue with current account deficits for three countries like India, Indonesia, Philippines. Now, if you look at today's current account balances, these deficits are much lower, and partly it's COVID which has actually helped these economies to reduce current account deficits because domestic demand has essentially dried. So on that measure, it's better. The second thing which is better now for Asia is that the FX reserves accumulation has been quite strong, at least for most countries, specifically India. If you look at, let's say, import coverage ratios, so which is essentially how much reserves do you have as a proportion of, let's say, monthly imports, that number has also increased quite significantly. So from our perspective, I think the challenges we saw in 2013 should not be as, let's say, disruptive for Asian equities if there is tapering by the Fed sometime in the summer.
But which, if you had to pick one or two of the Asian economies and markets, which are the most vulnerable to a sharp rise in US yields?
So we think the one which is most vulnerable within Asia ex-Japan equity markets, possibly it will be Indonesia. It still has a little bit of a current account deficit. India as of now is running a bit of a current account surplus. So Indonesia will be more vulnerable. I suspect the market may also penalize India, but we think if the market underperforms, I think it's probably a good time for investors to accumulate, because India, as I said, on a lot of these parameters actually looks better than what was the situation back in 2013.